Welcome back, Island Hoppers. Today we are going to take a look at 12 small towns that could be considered cities, some of them, but all under 100,000 people in population across America. Let's begin. Rounding off the very first one out here in the middle of the Pacific, Kona on the big island of Hawaii. With a population of 12,000 people, this small town is, in my opinion, the launch pad to the adult Disneyland, as I like to call it, the big island of Hawaii. This place is one big adventure island, and Kona, in my opinion, is where you want to begin. Whether it be volcanoes or swimming with wild dolphins, manta rays, so much to see and do in these rainforests, hikes all across the island. Kona is a small town with everything that you want to get you ready for Hawaii. Now, most people who come to Kona would say that they're never the same after they visit a place like this. It's the type of place that will change your life. Here you can see swimming with wild dolphins, something that you will never forget. Surfing, look at the big waves, the swells that come in here, and not to mention the variety of translucent blue waters that you get all up and down the coast like you see here. But perhaps best of all is these sunsets. Look at them now. Alright, totally switching gears here. We are headed up to Montana to Whitefish, located in Flathead County with a population of just under 8,000 people. Now, Whitefish, in my opinion, is the gateway into Glacier National Park, which many people would consider the best park in all of the continental United States. With an altitude at 3,500 feet, it does get cold here. Now, they also have ski resorts on Big Mountain. Whitefish is a town that you can visit in the summertime and get lots of water activities and beautiful wilderness outdoors, or in the wintertime, you get a great winter wonderland up here. So this town here in the downtown area, really a special place. If you get a chance, go out for some drinks or some food if that's your thing, and enjoy the nightlife out in Whitefish. It's pretty fun. Alright, now we're headed back down south to the Florida Panhandle, Destin, Florida, with a population of just under 15,000 people sitting just near Fort Myers Beach. The Panhandle is a part of a greater area known as the Emerald Coast. Destin is actually nicknamed the world's luckiest fishing village, and they're also home to the largest fishing vessel fleet in the state of Florida. Now, the beaches out here are going to be that silky white sand, some of the softest sand you'll find anywhere in the world, guaranteed. It's that nice. And the water, when the tide is right, can be emerald colored, just perfect, translucent, see-through water, the water that everyone likes to see during spring break. When you come to Destin and you're not frolicking in the water, enjoying the beautiful waves and the sand, you come down here to the actual boardwalk, catch a boat, catch a jet ski, go out to Crab Island, lots to do down here, and plenty of hotels to accommodate people, as 4.5 million people per year are said to visit Destin, even though it's a small town. And what would an American small town travel guide be without Alaska? Headed all the way up to Seward, Alaska, where they are located on the Kenai Peninsula near the fjords. This place is amazing. It's spectacular. The drive out there is worth it all alone. But when you get to this small town and you see the fishing and the glacier tours, you really feel like you're in a place like you've arrived at a paradise in the snow, with lots of glacier melt all around you. In case you're wondering what kind of fish come out of here, halibut. That's the big ticket right here. And if this is your first time to Island Hopper TV, please do consider subscribing to our channel and also giving us a like if you guys are enjoying this travel guide so far from across America. Let's keep moving along. Seward truly is a small town with an estimated population just under 3,000 people, so this really is a small town on the tip of the Alaskan Kenai Peninsula. Seward is located just 2 hours south of the big city in Alaska known as Anchorage. Also, one more thing. Don't forget, Alaska is known as the final frontier. An interesting piece of history. The town was actually founded called Resurrection Bay in 1793 by the Russian American Company. That's where modern-day Seward now sits. Alright, now we're headed to Red Rock country, down south in Arizona, Sedona. With a population of just over 10,000 people, Sedona draws people from far and wide who are seeking spiritual enlightenment. This place is known to have some portals and other things that shamans and other spiritual teachers have gravitated towards. The name Sedona comes from the daughter of Theodore Carlton Schneble. Her name was Sedona Arabella Miller Schneble. So that's where Sedona gets its name. And that name came from her mother, Amanda Miller, saying it just sounded pretty. That's why she gave her the name. And some of the activities people like to do out here in Red Rock country is go up to Oak Creek Canyon, camp, swim, go up to Slide Rock, or do a balloon ride, fly a helicopter ride, or just do one of the many hikes to one of the earth portals. This area was considered sacred to the Native American people who inhabited the area. Now look just how beautiful it really is. Oh, and one more thing people really like to do is the pink Jeep tours, so look that up when you arrive. Sedona is also home to the Chapel of the Holy Cross. Now it's located just 2 hours north of the major metropolitan area of Phoenix and just about 45 minutes south of Flagstaff. Alright, headed back north again to cowboy country, Jackson, in the Jackson Hole, Wyoming area, also known as one of the most expensive zip codes in all of America. Some would say it is the most expensive. Big money exists here, and it's a very small town. Well, big town by Teton County standards, but just under 10,000 people live here, and known also for its elk antler arches, as you can see in the center of Jackson. And just as Whitefish is the gateway into Glacier National Park, Jackson, Wyoming is the gateway into Yellowstone, which is another one of the top tier national parks in the country. But do not sleep on Teton National Park. I actually would say that one is the most underrated national park in all of the country, so do pay attention to the Tetons. The town itself is sitting at an elevation of 6,200 feet and also home to the Snow King Ski Resort, world-renowned ski resort right there. And any time's a good time to visit Jackson, even when it's bone-chilling cold. People do still come here for the snow and the skiing that exists on the Snow King. Oh, and by the way, guys, there are many small towns in the United States. This is just a handful of them. So if you guys want a part 2, a part 3, a part 4, or a part 5, and who knows however many more, because there are so many small towns, let us know in the comments below. Alright, now we're headed back east to New England, our very first New England town here, Newport, Rhode Island. The town of Newport has just under 25,000 people and also home to a U.S. Navy training center. But what makes this 18th century port city so amazing is its colonial era homes and the big dollars, the big money that used to be here and still to this day exist. Before it was Jackson, Wyoming being one of the most expensive zip codes in the country, Newport held that title for quite some time. Also, if you're into sailboats and sailing, the America's Cup was here for half of a century. You can take a stroll through Bowen's Wharf, head out on a ferry boat back to Providence, or go out doing some whale watching, or take a stroll along one of the several coastal trails that actually has a view of Martha's Vineyard. I would say Newport, Rhode Island is definitely the most underrated small town or city in the area of New England, but even on the entire East Coast. I was blown away when I first visited this beautiful small town village. And this here is a look at the Claiborne-Pell-Newport Bridge. This is quite the bridge. If you come in on a cruise ship or a ferry boat from Providence, you will go under this bridge, and it's amazing. All right, let's head a little further north towards Maine, just south of Maine actually, Portsmouth, New Hampshire. Now this coastal village has a population of 21,250 people and also is a historic seaport and popular summer tourist destination located on the Piscataqua River, just on the other side of Maine, like I said before. Also, a strategic air command for the Air Force Base right across the way. You can see the streets here really do have that old colonial American feel. And if you're enjoying this travel guide from across America, please do consider subscribing and liking the video as we continue to show you around these small towns across the United States. Portsmouth is home to the oldest naval shipyard in the Navy, also near Seaveys Island in Kittery, Maine. So the base is famous for the 1905 signing of the Treaty of Portsmouth, which ended the Russo-Japanese War. So Portsmouth has a lot of history dating all the way back to colonial times onto the modern era, and nowadays you can just walk around and take in all of that history on the waterfront and on the brick streets all across Portsmouth. Settled in 1623, by the way. What do you say we heat things up and head down south to the Florida Keys, just down to Key West, the southernmost point in the United States? Here's a fun fact for you. Did you know that Key West is actually geographically closer to Cuba than the mainland of Florida and Miami? So just to tell you, Miami, 150 miles away, Cuba, 90 miles away, 94 to be exact. And when you head down to Key West, you either make a left or a right at Duval Street. No matter which way you're going to go, you're going to find a lot of party and very eccentric people here on this island. Now, just to tell you, it is 1 mile in width and only 4 miles long. Not very big, and the population is just under 27,000 people. Some would say the Keys are losing the battle to erosion with the Caribbean or the Atlantic Ocean. And actually, the first time I ever visited Key West, I was hit with a hurricane. Okay, so do pay attention to the weather when you go down there, because the Florida Keys are right there in the warpath of any Atlantic hurricane that's coming around. And no, I'm not talking about the drink. But when you come down here, you could take in some history of Spanish colonialism, or even check out the pirates. There is buried treasure supposedly in the Caribbean. As you guys know, Key West would be a place you can learn about that. Also, when you come out here, you can take a ferry up towards the northern part of the mainland. You can also take a boat ride around the Keys, see dolphins, do snorkeling tours, all that jazz right here in Key West. All right, heading out west to Southern California, Laguna Beach, located in world-famous Orange County. With a population of 23,000 people, this is definitely one of the top beach towns in all of the country and in California. And that's a big feat to achieve, saying a lot. Laguna Beach also had its own show, as you may know. Speaking of expensive zip codes, Laguna Beach is right there at the top, along with Jackson and some of the other ones. But this seaside resort village is also an art community right there on the ocean, beautiful beaches, and people really do come here for relaxation. Although, do be aware, it's going to cost you a pretty penny if you intend to stay the night at one of these beach houses. The Airbnbs is expensive, so some people stay just south of here in some place like Dana Point or San Clemente, and then they come up here for the day. So keep that in mind. Very expensive place to hang out, but certainly worth it, and the beaches are my favorite part about Laguna Beach. At least once in your life, you got to do a sunset stroll along this part of California coast, right here in Laguna, Orange County area. Now featuring another western town, Santa Fe, out here in New Mexico. Now, if there was a small town on this list that could actually be considered a small city, it would be Santa Fe, New Mexico. But because of the old town feel you get in the old Spanish colony historic district of the Plaza, I would say that's why I consider this a small town. Did you know that Santa Fe, which translates to the Holy Faith, was actually a Spanish colony in 1610. That means that Santa Fe, New Mexico is actually the oldest state capital in the country. Most people think it's out east in New England or something. No, it's right here in Santa Fe because of the Spanish. Did you know Santa Fe is considered one of the world's great art cities due to the many galleries and installations they have here? UNESCO has actually set it up as a creative cities network. Okay, and the Santa Fe Plaza, Palace of the Governors, and Fiesta de Santa Fe are all known for their distinct New Mexican cuisine. Now, there is a museum that you will want to check out when you come here if you're into art, the Georgia O'Keeffe Museum. And I'll give you one more interesting tidbit of information. The Native Americans had a spiritual connection between three areas: Sedona, Four Corners, which is also where Monument Valley and Canyon de Chelly is, as well as Santa Fe. So the hunter and gatherer tribes used to go back and forth between Sedona and Santa Fe. Interesting to know, isn't it? And last but not least, we're heading out to Utah to Park City, where they held the Salt Lake City Olympics for skiing, and several other events were held out here. Nowadays, it's a resort town, and quite the resort town at that. It's charming, it's beautiful, and I hope everyone gets to visit this place. Park City sits at an elevation of 7,000 feet, making it one of the highest altitude locations on this list here. And also the population is just about 7,500 people. So very much a small town village, but really popular with people who enjoy winter sports. I came out here in the summertime and thought it was just as cool because there's other activities like mountain biking that people like to do. Now, as I said before, there are many places in the United States that you can visit. I've shown you 12 here. But I acknowledge that I missed many great small towns, some that you guys may consider better than some of the ones that I've picked, and I might not disagree with you. But this is just 12. If you guys want a part 1, and a part 2, and a part 3, and whoever knows however many we need to make, until you guys are satisfied with showing the small towns of America, let me know in the comments and tell me what your favorite small town is so that we can include it in the next one. Thanks to everyone for watching and subscribing to Island Hopper TV. We'll see you on the next one. And consider watching some more of these other videos that I've posted right here.